Well, on the lines of a couple of the players we've just spoken about, it kind of brings us back to what the season's going to look like for the Melbourne Storm. Now, it's been probably one of the most unsettling off-seasons in terms of their roster, and, you know, we've just mentioned the likes of Nelson Asafa-Solomon are leaving, Jonah Pezzett and Ryan Pappenhausen, but the big story is now that their Dalian backer of the Eli Katoa. I mean, it's an incredibly sad story that his season is over for next year and potentially his career is under threat.
How old is he, 25? Is that all he is?
I believe so.
Yeah.
After suffering the 3 head knocks in the Tonga and the Pacific Champs. So, you know, first and foremost, the players' welfare is what everyone is concerned about, and that the NRL is obviously doing an investigation, and some heavy sanctions are going to be coming out, you'd imagine, after what's unfolded.
It's pretty easy after the event now too. You know, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I would imagine before a big game like that, had you got knocked out in the warm-up, I just wonder how much Ellie wanted to play. You know, I know that they go through the protocol and all that sort of stuff, but you know, you get knocked out in a warm-up. It's sort of a little bit different to a game, isn't it?
But that's the thing that we've got to
obviously
see
understand
change,
that, but everyone's jumping on board now that a little bit of hindsight that we've seen that in the warm-up. I don't really know. He should have been pulled out of the game watching what happened and watching the vision, mate. He was knocked out, but I just don't know how deeply they dwelled into it, considering how much he wanted to play in a big game.
Yeah,
that's
entirely what's got to change, right? Is that you've played.
It takes it out of your hands. Yeah.
I think this whole story is very upsetting from a lot of angles. This simply cannot happen. It should never have happened. The fact that a player plays a game with all the video evidence, with all the care factor that's been drilled into our game the last couple of years with HIA and concerns for concussion, that this is one that slipped through the cracks. Yeah. So you can't change history. I hope Ellie and his family are okay and a speedy recovery. But Peter V'landys and Andrew Abdo need to make sure this never happens again. If it is sanctions, if it is a thorough investigation, I would like to see something come out publicly and explain this situation, because we have mums and dads and family members that love our game, but they go off and play junior rugby league every weekend. I don't think we can just let this one slip through and it needs to be researched, investigated, and there needs to be something delivered publicly around why this will never happen again.
And someone's head's going to roll.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. And whether it's monitoring warm-ups, it's having, those doctors that we have, the independent doctor that has to be monitoring this, but also
watching warm-ups.
You cannot have things. I mean, you when you played and trained, we hear players get head knocks during training. Those things happen, but now clubs are, very vigilant about how they manage that.
It's hard for Blocker and I to relay our
experience
sort of
different
setup when we were playing, because there just weren't the protective systems in place or the protocols in place. The way the game is protected today, that incident should never have happened. It's as simple as that. And someone should be responsible. Something should come of it. And I would encourage Peter and Andrew to find out exactly what happens and make sure it never happens again.
It's a good point you bring up with, players. Some of the training sessions are just as hard as games now. Like you play full on. Yeah. Like it's, and young blokes trying to prove themselves in scrimmage and all that sort of stuff when you play opposed, all that sort of stuff. It's 100 miles an hour.
That's changed a little bit. How many times do we see a player have concussion and an opposition player goes to stop play, picks them up, makes sure they're okay? So that culture has changed significantly in a much better way. This just cannot, from a procedure point of view, it just can't happen.
I'm glad it's changed, but because it used to be if you got a bad head cut or you got a bad knock, it was a badge of honour to stay out there. I'm glad that's changed.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of blokes struggling at the moment.
Yeah. So the Storm of obviously doing everything they can to support Eli Katoa and his family, and we're all just sending our well wishes to him